Hi, my name is Tom Curran. So yes, as Claire said, I'm one of the scientists who works at AWTTC. And my colleague Steph and I are going to speak to you about how we've been helping AWMSG to develop their next 5-year strategy. So Claire's already helpfully kind of given some background, but in a brief nutshell, yes, the AWMSG is a committee established to advise Welsh Government about the use, management and prescribing of medicines in Wales. And we in AWTTC support AWMSG in all the work that it does. So in that supporting role, a focus for us recently has been helping AWMSG committee to define and develop their strategy for the next 5 years. At a time when the NHS is under increasing pressure and is faced with challenges on all levels, AWMSG must define how they will continue to support NHS Wales to ensure that the best possible outcomes from medicines for patients. The aim is for the strategy to call for a range of organisations across NHS Wales to collaborate and support AWMSG in delivering the goals that it sets. So, before we go into more detail, we just wanted to map out visually what elements kind of come together to build a strategy for the All Wales Medicine Strategy Group. So before we could start developing a strategy for the next 5 years, we need to remind ourselves of a few things. So firstly, we have AWMSG's vision. So this would be an ideal of what AWMSG ultimately wants to see for Wales. Then we have AWMSG's mission. This defines really the reason that AWMSG specifically exists and the specific role it has in achieving that vision. And then we have AWMSG's principles. So everything that AWMSG delivers and all the work it does needs to stay true to these principles that it has. So these three elements kind of remain fairly constant for AWMSG, and they're taken as the foundation then for deciding what AWMSG feels are the focuses for the next 5 years as part of its strategy for 2024 to 2029. So the strategy for the next 5 years has been broken down into 4 broad ambitions that take AWMSG's mission and split it into discrete areas where we want to see improvement. And then these ambition areas help us to develop then some focused goals that can direct work to be delivered across NHS Wales over the next 5 years. The thinking then is that if we can ultimately achieve those goals, we're ultimately making strides towards achieving the vision of AWMSG. So obviously the next question would be, what is the vision of AWMSG? So they would say their vision is that we get the best outcomes from medicines to improve health and well-being of all people in Wales. So when we discuss then its mission, so the reason that it exists, and its current purpose and remit, so that we can so that it can help deliver on that vision, their mission is to deliver better health outcomes for people in Wales by ensuring 2 things: timely and equitable access to medicines and providing appropriate medicines optimization resources. So these are resources that kind of guide the use of medicines for every specific individual patient on an individual patient basis, so making sure the right medicines are used in the right people at the right times. So then we have the principles. There are several core principles that underpin all the work undertaken and considered by AWMSG. The first of these is being people-centred. AWMSG must put the needs of the people of Wales at the heart of their mission, with the voices of patients and the public feeding into all the work and decision-making. Next, we have evidence-based decision-making. AWMSG must also always make decisions based on scientifically rigorous and relevant evidence, and also monitor the impact of medicines and use data and analytics to make sure that they're achieving positive change. AWMSG must always promote health equity, which includes reducing any unwarranted variation in the care of patients are receiving and ensuring that the diversity of the population in Wales is always considered. Everything AWMSG delivers has also a focus on avoidance of harm, and that they are always ensuring the appropriate and safe use of medicines. Collaboration is a vital principle for AWMSG. We must always engage and collaborate with strategic partners at a local, national and international level, and work in partnership with patients and the public, healthcare professionals, but also the pharmaceutical industry. Increasingly, sustainability is a core principle that comes through AWMSG's work. They must consider the effects of their work on current and future generations by avoiding waste and reducing the environmental impact associated with the use of medicines. And finally, AWMSG must always bear in mind accessibility and transparency, maximising the benefits of technology and regularly reviewing their processes to ensure that their work is clearly communicated and accessible to all. So that hopefully sets the scene for the vision, mission and principles of AWMSG that remain fairly constant for them. So I'm going to hand over to my colleague Steph now, and she'll begin to take you through how those elements have been taken to decide what AWMSG wish to focus on in their strategy for the next 5 years.
Hi, thank you, Tom. So with that nice clear overview of how the strategy has been set out, I just wanted to talk a bit about how we arrived at the 4 key ambitions and the goals that sit underneath those ambitions. So following quite an extensive brainstorming session with the AWMSG committee, and just to highlight that committee is made up of representation across Wales, across the health boards, and includes people from Public Health Wales, from pharmaceutical industry, and representation from patients and public. So that there's lots of different people that have had a voice in helping us bring this all together. I should also acknowledge Welsh Government sit on that committee as a non-voting member. So what are the 4 ambitions? So it became clear after having quite a detailed discussions about the sorts of work that we were expecting to deliver for Wales, that the work streams could be sort of separated into these four main ambitions. The first is helping people in Wales get the best outcomes from medicines. And by that, we mean making sure that patients have the best opportunity to realise the benefits from the medicines they're prescribed. We also acknowledge that where appropriate, this might also mean deprescribing of medication when the risk may outweigh the benefits. The second ambition is enabling access of medicines so that the right medicines get to the right people at the right time. And by access, we mean making sure that there's advice available for prescribers to enable them to give the patients the medicines they need. And that advice needs to be clinically cost-effective, robust, and appropriate. Pulling on some of the principles, of course, needs to be equitable and evidence-based decision-making. So the third ambition is to minimise medicines-related harm and improve medicines-related safety for people in Wales. And of course, we've been striving to do this for a long time, and we have safety national prescribing indicators to support this. And not only are we trying to help people receive medicines safely, we want to be monitoring outcomes and using the data that's available for us to improve what we're already doing. And of course, we've heard from the yellow card centre, so that's a big aspect of this area of work. And the fourth ambition is to optimise the value that the NHS Wales achieves from its investments in medicines. And as we're all aware, there's only a limited resource, and it's important that AWMSG ensure that the advice that we're providing and the medicines that are available are of best value to both the NHS, patients and the healthcare professionals. So when we delved a bit deeper to look at what goals could help deliver those ambitions, we came up, or AWMSG came up with 8 areas, eight goals that they felt would help deliver those ambitions. And what we found was when we looked at those 8 goals, there was an overlap with all those ambitions. So the 8 goals I'm going to go over briefly support delivering those 4 key ambitions. So the first goal is to provide advice and resources and guidance that reflect the priorities and needs of patients, healthcare professionals in Wales. And that's making sure that we have systems and processes in place, that we're providing the resources and advice where it's needed most, so that the healthcare professionals and patients get the service they need within the budget and the workforce that we have. The second goal is making sure that data and technology are used to improve value, patient outcomes and safety. And as we're all aware, there's been huge advances in technology over the last few years, and it's really important that we capitalise on that and that we bring that into AWMSG's work streams, that not only we use the data to help with making sure patients are getting the right medicines in an appropriate way, but also to ensure the patients that the medicines we're prescribing are safe and the outcomes are what are intended. The data will also help with us making sure that our decision making is robust. The third goal is making sure the assessment procedures are rigorous, timely, and deliver value. Of course, with lots of changes going on in the UK and at a national level, we need to keep up with the change in the medicines landscape and making sure that we're able to provide in Wales the advice and routes of access to medicines that's required, so that there's equity of access across Wales, and also that we are complementing the work that goes on at NICE, so that we have an assessment procedure that enables us to provide the advice that we need in Wales. The fourth goal is providing healthcare professionals with standardised training for the safe and effective use of medicines. So as healthcare professionals, we're all acknowledged are under pressure, and there's lots of resources that are published through various national bodies. We feel that AWMSG need to work with our partner organisations to ensure that we're delivering the right training for healthcare professionals to enable them to use our resources and provide the medicines that are suitable, that the patients need on the ground. The fifth goal is ensuring medicines adherence is improved. Now, through our reading and research, we know that a third to a half of patients on long-term treatment do not take their medicines correctly. And this has been a theme that we've touched on at AWMSG over the last 5 years, and something that AWMSG were really keen to continue and develop, to ensure that medicines non-adherence is tackled in a way that's suitable and a way that's needed. So we've put that goal in to help focus some of the work streams in improving medicines adherence. The sixth goal is ensuring that medicines are used in a sustainable way, that sustainability is improved, and that we obviously don't waste medicines where we can, where possible. And that aligns to some of what the Welsh Government's priorities in making sure that we're improving sustainability and reducing medicines wastage. Such work might include working with patients and public to improve the understanding of environmental impact of medicines use and medicines waste, and working through ways in which we can improve that. Goal 8, no, sorry, I got ahead of myself. Goal 7 is providing advice and resources and making sure they're disseminated appropriately, widely promoted and routinely implemented. Now, AWTTC have been working hard over the last few years to ensure that we are making moves to improve our implementation of guidance. Obviously, there's a lot that can be done, and through working and collaborating with our partner organisations, AWMSG feel that we can come together to ensure that the resources that they endorse and that AWTTC support to produce are disseminated appropriate to the right people, and that the people that receive them know what they are for, how to use them, and then essentially improve patient care in the long run. So the last one touches upon something that for us at AWTTC has raised the profile more recently, but we know it's been in the pipeline from a few years, and that's this increase in precision medicines, and by that we mean these medicines that are prescribed based on the genetics of an individual. So it's this personalized medicines, and AWMSG need to be supporting NHS Wales to ensure that we're in a position to deliver these medicines to the patients that need them. So that includes working to look at what medicines are coming in the pipeline so that we can identify and highlight these, working with our health boards to ensure that services are in place. So not only does the medicine need to be licensed, we also need to make sure that the genetic test is available, because without that genetic test, many of these medicines can't be given to the patient. So there's a lot of work that needs to be done to ensure that all our systems are aligning and that all our organisations are working together to ensure that the patients can receive the medicines that they need. So that concludes the 8 goals. Very aware that that's sort of a whistle-stop tour, and if anyone's interested in finding out a bit more of the background around those goals and also the sorts of work streams that we've put forward that would support us in delivering those goals, then more detail is included in the draft strategy that was circulated to PAPIG members early this week. Should anyone here or want a copy or know of anyone that might like a copy, then please get in touch, and we'd welcome any comments to help us really reach the final stages of delivering or supporting AWMSG to deliver this for next year, to start working on next year. Thanks for listening. No, it's not the most exciting content, but hopefully you got a snapshot of what we've been working on and why. Thanks, Claire.